It is my pleasure to welcome Janiss Garza, writer, publisher, and blogger with the blog Sparkle Cat, featuring her cat Summer, which is a breed called Somali. Hello, Janiss. You're you
Hi.
you're you're here to talk about your cat Summer and the breed many people have never heard of, probably the Somali cat. What led you to seek out this breed, and had you had experience with this breed before?
Well, the thing about Somalis is that they're basically long-haired Abyssinians, and I have loved Abyssinians for God decades, a ridiculously long time. I just love the fact that they're really cool-looking cats, and they're fun and they're playful and really active, and all the sort of things that I personally look for in a cat. Abyssinian pretty much has. The only thing that Abby's had that I kind of wish that they did back when I was really into them in the 80s and 90s was they were short hair cats, and I really also like long hair cats. My heart cat was actually a long hair calico that I had in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, that was the one thing that I was kind of bummed about. That yeah, I wish that there was a long-haired version of the Abyssinian. And then I discovered in the late 1990s that there actually was a long-haired version of the Abyssinian, and it was called Somali. And that's how I got started being into Somalis. And I started researching and finding out if there were breeders in my area. And it turned out that there was near San Diego. And so that's how I got started.
Wow. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
so it really you had experience with the Abyssinian breed, I presume. So this was just going to a kind of a different version of a cat you were already familiar with, I guess.
Yeah, right. It's just like I'd never actually owned an Abyssinian. I'd actually looked into it a couple of times into getting one, but I'd never actually gotten one. And when I started getting serious about looking for another cat, I encountered I encountered the Somali.
Oh. Now it's a beautiful looking cat. I mean, the coloring on it is just breathtaking. I mean, is that at least Summer? The pictures I've seen of your cat is just breathtaking. Is that typical of the breed to have that real reddish fox-like color?
Okay, now what the thing about the Somali coat, and it's the same thing with the Abyssinian coat because their colors are the same in both Abbeys and Somalis, is that it's actually not a color. What they have is agouti or tick-tabby fur, which means that each strand of hair has bands of color on it. Those bands of color blend together to create what you actually see. So it's really interesting. It's a little bit more pronounced in the Somali because they have the longer fur, so they have like whiter bands of color. And like on the Abbeys, you can just thumb your way through it, but it's like Somalis, it's just really lush looking. And there are actually four different colors that are recognized in the Cat Fanciers Association, which is one of the two main registries in the U.S. For pedigree cats. And the color Summer is, and it's also for both Somalis and Abbeys, is called Ruddy. And it's basically the most common color, and but there's also a more dilute version of it, which looks more like bluish gray, which is called Blue. And it's just, it just has, it's a really pretty coat, but it's like I said, it's a bluish gray version. And there's also a version that's actually red, not just because if you look, it's like sort of a reddish blackish sort of like rust sort of color is the ruddy, and red is actually more like Lucille Ball red.
Wow.
Okay, that's the only way I can put it. And but it's still the tick fur, but it's a more reddish color without the black in it. And there's a dilute version of the red called fawn, which is a very peachy sort of color. And the way
Oh.
you can tell, because there's some actual ruddies that are very red looking, but you can tell that there's a difference between a ruddy and a red if you ever have a question, and and there's the red's kind of dark looking, so you think it might be kind of, you're not being able to thumb through the fur to look for black or whatever. You look at their paw pads. Ruddies have black paw pads, and blacks have some fur. The reds have pink paw pads.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, it's just like that's how you can always tell it by the paw pads. It's like the blues have kind of lavender paw pads, and I'm not really sure what color paw pads the fawns have. It's some lighter version of pink.
Lavender, really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, the blues have lavender paws.
Wow. Yeah. Well, why is it called the fox cat? I was reading on the internet that it seems to have a common name of the fox cat. Is that because of the ones that have the various red coloring to their coat, where it looks like a fox?
Well, yeah, they're very similar. They're very fox-looking, with the big bushy tail and all that. So that's, and the really refined, thin legs and all. So that's probably where the term comes from. I mean, they've also been compared to squirrels because of the tipped fur, the agouti sort of fur, and the fluffy tail. So
really,
they get compared to a lot of different animals that have nothing to do with cats, but they're definitely like cats.
Well, I know your own personal experience is with summer, but what would you, from your own experience, how would you describe the breed's personality traits? Are they very social, vocal, or kind of shy and reclusive, or
I've actually had a lot of experience with a lot of different Somalis because Summer's actually my second Somali, but she's the first one I've had that's been an actual show cat where I've had her compete in shows and taken her to cat shows, and a lot of times I'll bench with her breeder who always has a cat that she's showing. She's working on getting awards, and I know a couple of other Somali breeders at this point who I also like. So I've had experience being around their cats and getting to know their cats, and even I've helped socialize a couple of my Summer's breeders' cats by handling them so somebody else can handle them besides her, so that they get used to other people working with them. And actually, I pretty much have the Somali personality down, and they're very fun, very playful. They aren't real super vocal. They aren't like a Siamese. They usually have sort of quiet little voices, and but they're one of the few.
Would you say they're inquisitive by nature?
Oh yeah, they're definitely they get into everything, and they're very smart, and they know. One thing Abbeys and Somalis have in common, other than the colors of their fur, is that they use their paws like their hands, and so it's just they're really good at opening up cabinet drawers and things like that. Things like that. My desk drawer, where I keep some of Summer's toys. If she really wants me to play with her, she'll open up the drawer herself and find her toy.
Really? Wow.
And and they're very. They want to be part of your life. They aren't the kind of cats that are just going to hang out and lay around all day and do nothing. They want to be involved in what you're doing.
It's not. They're kind of. They look to be. From the pictures, to be rather athletic looking, rather muscular. They're not like a big fat Persian or something, right?
No, they're they are very active, very very busy cats, and which is really, but they're active and busy in a fun way. I mean, compared to say a really super active cat like the Bengal, which Bengals are really powerful and could be actually, if you don't give them enough attention, they're like dogs. You have to give them attention or they get destructive. Somalis will get they'll get in trouble if you don't pay enough attention to them, but not quite to the level of a Bengal. And the one thing about Somalis that I really love is they're one of the few kinds of cats that I've found that seem to have a sense of humor.
Really?
Yeah. They actually will laugh at themselves. and just they're not all dignified. Let me put it that way.
They're kind of goofballs, huh?
Yeah, they are. They don't have that sense of dignity that a lot of people seem to associate with cats.
All right. Well, let's see. How old is Summer now?
She'll be 6 in March. So I've had her
Oh,
for quite a while now. It seems like the time's flown by. I mean, people still think of her as a kitten, and
yeah.
actually, Somalis are they're said to be a medium-sized breed, but compared to like the domestic non-pedigree cats, they look pretty small. I mean, like Summer's about 7 pounds, which is pretty average for a Somali female, and the males get to be 9 or 10 pounds. And mostly like non-pedigree cats, like, the average is probably about 10 pounds for females and maybe 12 or 14 pounds for males, I've found. At
Okay.
least the ones that aren't overweight.
Oh. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, I've never seen pictures of an overweight obsidian or Somali. So they seem
I've actually,
they they
yeah,
seem to be
I've
very
actually,
lean looking.
for the most part, they are. I mean, I have seen some overweight abbeys, and yeah, it's like, you know, but usually they are, they tend to stay in pretty good shape for most of their lives. They're just they're lifetime active animals. So yes.
Oh, all right. Well, I know you have a passion for the breed. Is it a cat breed that you'd recommend to anyone that may have an interest?
Well, I mean, it depends on the person because everybody's personality is different. And yeah, people who want an active cat and have the time to spend with them, yeah, I'd say Somalis are a great breed. If you just want a cat that's going to just hang out and not do very much and, veg on the couch with you while you watch TV, I mean, like, Somalis might not be the cat for you. Or if you like, work all day and you don't really want to devote any time to interacting with your cat and you just want the cat to be there,
Oh.
Somalis will get bored very quickly with you.
Uh,
And they
uh,
will probably like, pester you and bother you and make you get
so
up and do stuff with them.
so they're not a aloof cat that doesn't want anything to do with you. Then they enjoy the interaction with people and play and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, even though my cat before Summer Sparkle, she was actually a little on the aloof side, but at the same time, I mean, like she was always on my desk all the time. She had to hang out with me while I was working. She didn't want to like just hang out and keep to herself. She wanted to like be involved in what I was doing, even though she wasn't quite as paws on as say Summer is. Is that they always want to know, is the cat from Somalia? Because the cat's named Somali, and I always have to explain that no, the cat developed in Britain, and the United States,
So
and in
how
Canada.
so how did it get its name?
Yeah, well, the reason why it got called Somali is because the Abyssinia is modern day Ethiopia, and it's next to Somalia, and Somalia is next to the Abyssinian breed, and so that's how
Uh,
they got called Somalis.
okay. All right.
Yeah, so I have to explain that a lot. I'm gonna, because Summer, even though she doesn't compete anymore, I take her to cat shows all the time. As an ambassador cat. So she's an ambassador for her breed, and she's very friendly and outgoing. So I like to take her to cat shows because most of the cats that are competing, the exhibitors don't like you to touch them because people like if you touch a bunch of cats, you can spread disease, and they're usually extremely like carefully groomed for competition, and if
hmm
you touch them with your messy hands, you can just really like damage the groom and just make them not look as good. So people don't like them touched if they're competing. Summer is really friendly, and she can touch, and anybody who wants can touch her because But I mean, I always groom her before the shows anyway. But it doesn't matter. She's not interacting with other cats. She's just interacting with other people, and she just it doesn't matter if you if you get her get a little bit of grease in her hair because she's not going to be judged by it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Summer, it sounds like you've had a wonderful time with Summer, and you've grown real close to her, and she's a big part of your life. What's new on Summer's blog?
Oh man,
Anything
it just
happening?
um just pretty much the usual with her. I mean, it just like her blog involves just all the things she does, um the shows she attends, the meet and greets that she does. It just we travel together sometimes, and we she loves hotel rooms and stuff like that. Taking her to pet stores and stuff, and it's like I have a little sort of a running thing I've started to do with her because nothing she uh, nothing she does is like a normal cat. I mean, she loves wearing clothes. She loves being photographed. She just it's like she loves actually being a public cat. It's really funny because it's just it's like most people don't want to be in the public eye. But there are a few that do, and they become
Oh,
celebrities. And so Summer is kind of like that. She
oh.
enjoys being around people and being, having people pay attention to her. So, just so I'm having her do I'm having her do this thing now where she tries to do a regular cat thing, and usually she's not very good at it. Like today's the blog post I have on the this blog post is that I'm going to tell you about now is how most people when they try and change sheets and they're making the bed, the cat gets on the bed and they get involved and they crawl under the fitted bed sheet and they just get in the way. And so I thought, okay, if Summer's usually she doesn't care about any of that stuff. She's usually that's when she's napping is when anything like that goes on, any household chores.
Ah,
She wants to be more involved, if I'm doing something like working at my desk. But anyway, so she's usually upstairs when I'm downstairs changing the sheets. And so I brought her downstairs to do a photo session of her while I was changing the sheets to see what she would do. And it was really funny because it's it was like she stretched out, she laid down for a while, and then she got bored. She actually left. And that's all in her blog post. But
ah,
yeah, mostly it's all about her trying on a new dress or
wow.
just modeling or learning tricks. That's one thing that's really good with Somalis is you teach them tricks and it keeps them mentally occupied. And
Ah,
so Summer can do a variety of them. She can do high fives, she does handshakes, she does fist bumps, and
wow.
she rings a bell, she jumps the hoops, she turns around, she waves bye bye. I mean, she does all sorts of stuff.
Well,
She sits up.
I have to ask you about your publishing company. Please tell us about what you do.
Yeah, I'm a small publisher. I do some indie publishing. I have two anthologies of cat rescue stories that I published, and they're all by different authors. And they're all written through the cat's perspective. They're all real life stories. Yeah, so yeah, I have a couple of those out, and they actually have done. The first volume did extremely well. It went into the black in probably about 6 months, which was
Oh,
really awesome.
cool.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Now I know you've also written for Catster and some other uh, places. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, actually, one site I write for pretty frequently these days is it's the public side of the Fear Free website because Fear Free certifies um, veterinarians and other pet professionals on a certain way of helping pets be less fearful and more comfortable in
Mm.
situations like at the vet clinic and just in general. And there's a public for a consumer site to it called Fear Free Happy Homes to help people who are just pet owners to have more happy, well-adjusted, less fearful pets. And I write a lot for their for their website and a lot of articles for them, and of course, mostly focusing on cats.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
great. All right. All right, Janice. Well, thanks so much. everybody should go check out Summer's blog. What's the web address?
It's sparklecat.com.
Sparklecat.com. All right.